Hello, everybody. This is Barbara Drives, aka the Deal Diva, and tonight I have with me Dylan Carter. And tonight we're going to talk about how to track supplier leads. So if you're anything like me, I'm a wholesale sourcer. I also do bundles. You know, I'm a creator of the Bundle Masterclass. But in putting wholesale leads into my pipeline, my goal is to have thousands of leads going into my pipeline, right? So I think one of the biggest challenges we have is tracking the communication, tracking the products, first of all, that are coming into that pipeline, and then tracking the communication with the vendors. You know, where are they in, what have we said to them? You know, where are we in the communication? Are they warm leads? Are they cold leads? So what I've been doing, and I know we all have kind of our own system cobbled together, but I use, some of us use like Gmail, GMass, Google spreadsheets, Google Sheets, maybe Zapier's between them, Asana, right? So there are all kinds of disparate tools out there to track product and suppliers. And about a month ago, I ran across whatever side of the screen this gentleman is on, Dylan Carter, and his, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his background, and I'll shut up for the rest of the presentation. But I ran into them about a month ago when I was looking for a way to just streamline this and then also put a virtual assistant on the process. And they've developed this really cool, I don't even know if tool does, the term tool does it a service. I think it's much more than just a little tool. It's kind of it's a solution. Would you agree, Dylan?
Yeah. It's the way we kind of view it as more of a platform.
Well, it's called Vendrive. So
yeah.
We're not saying it, okay? Vendrive, V-E-N, short for vendor, of course, drive, Vendrive. And you can go to vendrive.com/dealdiva and you can check out the sales page and check out what they're doing and what it does while we're talking. So Dylan tonight is actually going to kind of pull back the curtain and he's going to show us what Vendrive is all about and how it can help us as Amazon sellers who are sourcing wholesale. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet now and toss it over to Dylan.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm trying to figure out Zoom as we go.
Okay, well, if you want to share your slides, down at the bottom there's a green button that says share.
Perfect.
And I'm going to change the speaker
to
you, and I'll just mute myself and let you talk. And then down share, you can choose the screen on your computer that allows you to share your slides. And then if you want to go back to this, you just click stop share.
I love it. Perfect. All right, the young tech guy.
I know, right? This is like a total geek kid here.
I love it. I know.
You'll get it in like 30 seconds where it took me an hour.
All right, guys. So my name's Dylan Carter. I'm the head of growth for Vendrive. So to kind of give you some context as to how we got to where we're at now, I was growing my wholesale business for the first 3 or 4 months, had no clue what I was doing. And like most of us started with RA, OA, and, you know, kind of hit that ceiling, that threshold where it was really painful to scale and grow. And so I found the wholesale business model. And eventually after that 3 to 4 months of struggling, I figured it out and started doing pretty well. And I happened to find my now co-founder, James, through Instagram. So his wholesale business was at 7 figures scaling annually. I was at right around $250,000 scaling. And we just kind of started talking a little bit and talking about common problems with you know, our businesses. And we quickly realized we were working with the wrong tool set, with the wrong arsenal. And really the process of growing had nothing to do with what we were doing. It was really the system that we were working from. So let me jump over here real quick and we're going to jump right into the good stuff. Get this sharing for us. Perfect.
So while Dylan is figuring out how to share the screen, just for those of you who just came on, we're talking about a service called Vendrive, V-E-N-D-R-I-V-E, and it's how we can kind of streamline our communication process and of the vendors that we have coming into our pipeline as wholesale sourcers. Okay, you got it. It's all yours.
Perfect. And you guys can see my slides? Lovely. Perfect. All right, guys. So like I was saying, really the tool set that we were using was outdated. So we were working with spreadsheets, we were working with Gmail folders, and even the geekiest of us with our advanced automated folders could only get so far. And so we realized we had some pretty major problems that cropped up pretty early on while growing the wholesale business. So the first thing that we noticed were that we were losing application and pricing sheets, and they were getting buried in our inboxes. We would, of course, open them, take a look, file it in our head, maybe a to-do list somewhere, and then we never get around to it. And because of that, we realized that the accounts that we should have been opening were simply getting dropped, and that was us dropping the ball. And what was worse is months later, while we would actively go through our emails and find price sheets, scan them, and realize there was thousands of dollars in profits sitting in our inbox that we just didn't utilize. And we're talking months later. So we're talking potentially losing tens of thousands of dollars over the course of a few months just because our processes were up to par. Now, that's kind of where we got into this idea of what Vendrive could be. So we started finding our own solutions. And this really wasn't meant to be a product. It was really a side project. My co-founder is a artificial intelligence-based engineer. I'm kind of a growth guy myself. And so we put together a solution that we began testing with our own businesses. And eventually we realized we had something pretty special. And we quickly realized after testing this with ourselves, with our own individual businesses, that it was easier for us to take a supplier lead from lead to profitable. So we stopped dropping the ball with great suppliers that we had great introductions to, that we were able to open accounts with. So by doing that, we were able to increase the amount of suppliers we brought on every single week. So imagine going from opening, let's say, 1 to 2 profitable wholesale accounts per month to being able to do that per week, maybe even 1 per day. It all boils down to the systems. And so eventually we realized we not only changed the system, we changed our whole perspective of what sourcing wholesale suppliers meant. Our whole onboarding process became incredibly profitable without us really having to do much more work. In essence, it made it easier for us. So let's jump into how this actually works. So I'm in Vendrive right now. This is my account. You can see we have our dashboard here. Just gives you a high level of what your current onboarding supplier chain looks like. So we have a few accounts here kind of loaded up so we can get an idea of that. First, you'll see we have a number of suppliers we need to contact to, and you'll see how this all comes together in a few minutes. And over here, you can see how many applications we're waiting to receive from suppliers, how many we were able to add in the last 7 days, and then how many we actually won. So we're actually tracking how successful we've been. So let's jump into the main feature here of Vendrive, and that's going to be our pipeline feature. Now, this is your whole funnel, if you will, your pipeline, whatever term you'd like to use. And all we're doing is we're creating a better funnel to quickly move those suppliers from lead to profitable. So every supplier we find that we want to reach out to immediately gets dropped into the to be contacted list. As we reach out, we'll move them into the next column here, the next phase of our onboarding process. And then as they respond, we'll move them even further. And then as we get applications, even further, until eventually we either win or lose those applications. So let's give you an example of how this actually looks. I have an account here, or excuse me, I have an ASIN here that we've been looking at lately, and I like it. Looking at the Keepa chart, it's pretty great. We can zoom out a little bit further here. It's gotten progressively better, but now it's matured. The price has actually increased. There's not that many competitors on this actual ASIN, on this listing, and the sales rank's pretty good. So I actually want to reach out for a wholesale account. So what I'm going to do is I need a few things, right? I need to find some contact information before we can load it up into Vendrive. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to grab the name of the brand and we're just going to search for it. So we're going to throw it into Google. And I believe this is it. And this is how we actually source wholesale products ourselves. So I'm just scanning through real quick. And I'm verifying this is the same logo, so this is the same brand. And I'm looking for some contact information, preferably sales related. And we don't see anything sales related right now, but that's okay. We still have some contact information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my VenDrive account. So I'm going to go over back to our pipeline feature, hit add supplier, and we're going to start filling this out. Now the brand name is called Muka. And we're just going to grab the phone number, jump back over. We're going to grab that email, preferably a non-support email, but that's okay. We're going to grab their website, and then perhaps a brief description or some notes that we might want to add. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to add this supplier to my pipeline, and then we're going to create a profile for this supplier. Now you can see where the supplier is in terms of your pipeline, the funnel. Now the next thing I really like to do, and I find incredibly important, is adding a note. So I'm going to grab the ASIN of the product. I'm going to come down here, create a quick note, add that in. Just like that. Let me move this out of the way. Perfect. So now we've got some notes in here. Nothing too crazy, but I do want to track this product. Now what's important is being able to know where your business is going to be at a month or two from now. So we're going to add this in here. And now what we've done is we've created a product profile for the specific ASIN we're interested in. Now the great thing is that this profile for the product is associated to the brand that we just added right down here. So you can see we're pulling in some Keepa information right here that's incredibly relevant, but also some new things. So you're able to see how many sellers are sharing the buy box currently. Not just the total amount of sellers, but the ones you'll actually be competing with. You can also see the category and the BSR. And we can scroll down, we can see the actual competitors right here and their listing price. We also have some additional information such as the weight, dimensions, things that help you calculate potential costs of shipping. And then a personal favorite of mine is the profit calculator. So because we actually tie into Amazon's API, we're basically able to pull real data from Amazon.com. And so if we can run some analysis here and say, okay, maybe this product costs us $45 and then we might pay inbound shipping of $10. So we can get a pretty decent idea for our net profit and our ROI. So let's go back to our profile for the supplier here. We have all the information relevant. Now, because I like this product a lot, I'm going to go ahead and make it a priority, and we'll kind of take a look at that again in a second. So why does this matter? It matters because when you call a supplier, you want to have everything on point. You want to sound and know that you have everything relevant. So as I have important notes here, and this will grow as I work with each supplier, I can quickly pull this supplier's profile up, give them a call, have everything relevant that I need here. I can even go ahead and pull up the actual ASIN link, and that way I have this product pulled up that I want to speak to. So when they ask, well, which product were you interested in? I can have this ready to go. And then I'm not fumbling for anything, right? And we also have a file section. So if you're like any of us and have lost a price sheet, an order form, or anything that really kind of keeps your business going with a supplier, we can store that here. So no more flooding your Google Drive, your Dropbox account. Everything's related to the supplier or the product. And then kind of taking that a little step further, we can come down here and actually get a full list of all the products that we're actually tracking. So you can see we have a bunch in here. We can link directly to them. We have the ASINs. And each one, we can pull that relevant data that we're interested in and say, oh yeah, I need to probably restock this. Oh, that's right, that's Fox Farm. Let me pull that back up. And then all the notes that I have saved in here, all are being brought right back to me. Nothing's being kept in my head. So VenDrive acts as your external brain for your wholesale Amazon business. And similar to the product tracker is our supplier directory. So kind of like our pipeline, but less phase-based. So you can go through here, see all the priority-based ones that you should call first. So the way we like to view it is when we log in to work for the day, our first hour of the day, we're quickly going to our pipeline and we're saying, who's the biggest priority right now? Well, the Army Painter is a supplier we've been looking at. They responded to us and they asked for an application to be filled out. So that's the first thing I'm going to get done today. And as soon as I do that, I'm going to move them forward, and so on and so forth. So it's easy to see how quick you can go from being very simple in how your processes work. And as you grow, things become very overwhelming. And so Vendrive allows that to be less so. So let's jump right back over here, because it's great to hear this from one of the co-founders' perspectives as he grew his own business. But let's kind of look into some of our actual users' testimonies. So this is from Travis. He's one of our earlier users. And Travis says, to sum it up, Vendrive saves us a ton of time each week by helping us find and organize wholesale suppliers in an actionable way. And there's two key words in here that are really relevant and important. That's going to be staying organized and actionable. Vendrive is a platform that allows you to not only be organized, but to do something with that makes your business grow faster. And going down, Mark, it drove me crazy until I found Vendrive. No more Excel sheets for me. So hopefully I'm not the only one, and Mark's not the only one who has copious amounts of spreadsheets and does everything from Gmail. Now, something that happened right while I was creating this, Mark actually posted in our Facebook group a quick little update. So just scored my biggest win so far. Months ago, I spoke with the company and notified them about their map being violated. It took them 6 months to fix it. They got rid of all the sellers. Now they only want me as the seller. The profit is close to $950 per month for this one item, #winning. Now think about that. If he didn't have a good relationship with his suppliers, this wouldn't have happened. And him being organized in an actionable way was enabling him to take a supplier from lead to profitable, whereas that wouldn't have happened with another seller. Now he has an exclusive. Going down to Andy. So I love Andy. Andy has given so much feedback and actively made Vendrive better over time. He's truly a power user. So Andy's in New Zealand. When he first came on board, both in our Facebook group and as a Vendrive user, he started from nothing and was able to cross the $10,000 sales mark without touching his inventory and selling in the US, all from working full-time in New Zealand with crazy time differences. So whenever we do our weekly live sourcing, typically this time on Monday, right now he's doing his lunch break, but he hasn't allowed that to get in his way. And then Anne, another personal favorite, which I guess they're all kind of personal favorites now. So Anne started with us and she was brand new, going through exactly what I went through my first 3 to 4 months of trying to figure all this out. And so when she started with us, it was from scratch. And then within 2 months, she was able to scale her business to $8,000 in sales and revenue within that 2 months. And now I talked to her yesterday, she closed past $10,000 per month in sales. Now, it's important to note they were able to do this because everything was clear. Their business flowed. It was simpler. It was organized. And they're able to log in every single day and know what needed to be done to move their business forward. So here's a few positive side effects we've noticed not only with ourselves, with our own businesses, but with our users after having so many so far. Investing your time in building relationships will pay huge dividends for your Amazon business. We get asked all the time, Dylan, how do I get exclusive supplier accounts? Well, it first starts with having an amazing relationship with a supplier. But if you don't have the time or the ability to be able to do that, it's never going to happen. Next, we freed up more time to focus on landing more exclusive agreements with our suppliers. And remember Mark, who was able to do that from a few slides ago. It was because he had his business organized in an actionable way that he was able to take a supplier from lead to profitable. And because of all this, the platform VinDrive enabled us to be easier to work with, and suppliers loved us for it. How many times have you called a supplier and told them you sell on Amazon and they became angry? They immediately hung up on you or said probably some pretty nasty things. Because of the way we do things, they actually love working with us. And they're willing to trade other sellers to work with VinDrive users. And it's not because of VinDrive, it's an enabler because of that. And ultimately, we realized VinDrive became a competitive advantage for wholesale Amazon sellers. Now, this was a big turning point for us. We realized we actually had something that not only helped us, who were experienced sellers, but sellers who didn't have an LLC, who didn't have a pro account, who hardly knew how to use Seller Central. We were able to take a large amount of brand new sellers from nothing to doing over $10,000 in sales a month. And that, while to a lot of sellers that might not seem like a lot, but to them it means the world. Ultimately, it led to less work with more results. So as Barbara alluded to earlier, the process, the way this worked before, was a combination of Google spreadsheets, of Gmail, Salesforce, Zapier, all of this tying together to make your Amazon business run. But what we realized is you only needed one tool, and that's VinDrive. Now, I met Barbara about a month ago, and I've been following her for probably the last 2 years in the shadows, if you will, as a brand new Amazon seller and growing my own business. And I started to talk with her about what VinDrive was and what we were doing. And she put something into perspective for me. She helped us realize we had more to offer. And so after talking with her and trying to make something work, she got us to do something we've never done. And that is a brand new exclusive thing for Deal Diva audience. And
okay, I'm going to pause you for a second.
Yeah, jump in.
That was a lot of information, right, guys? Just watching him go through the account and how he just dragged and dropped the different leads. So think about this as a whole. Even if you're not sourcing wholesale yet, but you want to, this tool makes it a lot easier to get started and be able to track what you're doing. But think about it. How many more leads, the supplier leads, can you actually process and communicate with when you have the efficiency that this tool is offering? Do you see the efficiency part of your time? And then you could even put a virtual assistant on it. Think bigger here, right? So the more leads you can get into that pipeline, where you can just these guys have an onboarding training when you get VinDrive. There's an onboarding training, so you can put a virtual assistant in your account and have them do all this. And then the things that have the little fire next to them, the high priorities, the ones that require you to touch, those are the only ones that you'll be contacting and closing on the phone and developing a relationship with, right? So this tool allows you to really focus in on the super hot leads that require you to close those leads, where you have a VA kind of pushing everything else through the pipeline until something pops as something you can really close on your own. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Go ahead and put in, I want everybody to put in the chat if you have any questions about the tool, put in the chat that you understand the power of being able to track everything in such an easy interface. Say yes, 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 if you see the power of it. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being on tonight. I know it's, we're just hopping on Q4 now, but think about all the time you're going to save during Q4 craziness when you can quickly and easily just dump all these suppliers and all these products in that pipeline and organize it in VinDrive so that you can see the flow and work with the flow a lot more easily. Okay, so I just wanted to interrupt there just to and kind of encapsulate the word efficiency.
Exactly.
Is key for me, at least as an Amazon seller, because if I don't have efficiency of time and capital, then I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. And this tool is creating efficiencies for me in my wholesale business.
Exactly. And it's something we found doing some research a few weeks ago was a job posting for a virtual assistant. And the main requirement was that they were to use VinDrive.
Now you guys just launched, because this is stuff
Yeah.
you were using in your own business, and you
Yeah.
had people like me saying, hey, this is cool how you're doing this. When are you going to create a tool? We want it. So
Yeah.
there are not a huge amount of users of Vendrive yet. You are just
Yeah.
starting out. And if I were you, I would raise the price. I've already said this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would be charging a lot of money for this because of the efficiency it creates in our business. But I've asked these guys to give you guys a special deal. Also give them feedback as you get in the tool and start using it. Say, hey,
Exactly.
can you do this? Can you do this? And change it and help grow this tool. But you'll get the special price regardless of whenever they raise their price, which I'm sure they will. So go ahead and talk to us about what you can offer Deal Diva followers.
Sure. And so right before we get into that, we're getting ready to launch the second version here in the next month or two. And with that is going to come a new feature set that is really going to be a game changer, and it's something that's been asked and highly requested from us, is task reminder system that's attached to supplier. So you can actually create reminders and tasks for each supplier, due dates, all that great stuff.
Wow.
And then integrated communication. So not only will you be able to integrate your email, you'll be able to do more with that. You'll be able to track things with it. You'll be able to work that data again in an actionable way. And so that's going to help a lot. So we got a lot of great things coming.
Wow.
And like Barbara just said, we have a very close feedback loop with our users, and everything comes to us. Nothing is outsourced with what we do. And so we want our users to dictate the future of what Vendrive is going to be. And so let's jump into that. So again, we haven't done this period. We haven't even had this. We had to create this for you guys. So here's where we're at. So this is an annual price. Now it is discounted. Let me make this perfectly clear. This is not available anywhere else. And we had to create the whole annual for you guys. So instead of paying what we charge right now per month, you get a discounted annual, which is $249.
Okay, well, let's break that down.
Yeah, let's break it down.
$20.75 a month.
Exactly.
Now, I'm gonna put you on the spot live. Are you gonna lock this price in for my users?
Yes. And so this is something that
Great.
we believe heavily in, is if we tell you one price, that's the price. So we want to.
You go up to $1,000 a year, which this tool is totally worth. Because $1,000 a year, believe it or not, is like $83 a month. There are some tools out there that people are paying $200 a month for.
Exactly.
So even at $1,000 a year, the efficiencies that this will create, if I just lock down one account, I've more than made my money back. So you're telling me you're going to offer the Deal Diva folks $249 a year and lock in that price annual, regardless of what your price goes up to at any point in time.
If this price goes to $1,000 a month, you're locked in
for a year, $1,000 a year. Yeah. So it's $249 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per year, and that will never go up. It will never change. And think about Mark from a few slides ago, who just added $950 in profit per month from one SKU.
Yep. Cool.
So
thank you.
Think about that, right? I mean, think about the differences there. And we're actually about to launch a different product that is in that higher cost. So trust me, this is going to be locked in. You guys are going to be good to go. And you'll be able to.
And guys, I guarantee that whatever the new product is, that I'm developing a relationship, as we all do with our suppliers, right? So I've developed a relationship with Dylan and his partner, and will continue to do so that we can find a way to bring whatever new software they come up with. We'll bring it to you at a discount.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the business of being able to do this to enable sellers. That's what we're here to do, and that's what gets us out of bed in the morning, gets us inspired. So for you guys who want to jump in on that, you can go to dealdivawholesale.com/Vendrive. That's going to be the direct link.
Or Vendrive.com/DealDiva.
Exactly.
The one's going to get you.
We got a few options there. Now, again, this is going to be exclusive for you guys. So you're not going to find it on Vendrive.com.
Nope.
Okay,
nope.
so
They made this landing page for us. So you won't find this price anywhere else. But somebody's asking in the chat here, does this operate on their terminal or on your server? I believe it operates on Dylan's server.
Mark, so that's a great question. So this is going to be cloud-based. So this is going to be, browser-based. So you're just going to go to vendrive.com, log into your account. Everything's stored there. Yeah. And so for people, because, this comes up a lot, what about my data, all the suppliers that I upload? We fully believe that is your data. So at any time you want to export that data, we make that easy for you to do as well.
Nice. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question, Mark. Thanks. What other questions you guys have about Vendrive? First, do you understand the power and that this tool can provide to your wholesale business? Does everybody understand? I know he did it seemed like a really quick and easy demo, because it really is, the interface is easy to use, but just because something is easy to use doesn't reflect the power of it. So not fully. Okay, tell me your questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So Ito says they don't understand fully what the power of this is. So talk to us about how this can change somebody's wholesale business using Vendrive.
Yeah. So let's dive into some of the macro perspective stuff here. So as we're talking with, so let's put this into context. We advocate reaching out to 10 suppliers per day, to for somebody who's brand new, getting started, to really have an impact and really start growing. Now that's 10 suppliers per day. That's 50 per week. Can you really keep everything organized, right? So the amount of volume you really have to do with building relationships, getting introductions, reaching out to new suppliers gets really hectic, especially as you're growing. And so what happens is you end up, if you don't have the right systems and the right processes, you end up dropping the ball on a lot of things. You end up deprioritizing things that should have stayed a high priority. And so when you wake up every single day to work on your business for that first hour, are you in reactive mode? Are you in maintenance mode? Or do you know these are the 5 suppliers I need to fill out an application and send? I need to scan this price list. Do you have everything clearly laid out? So the way we view Vendrive for ourselves personally is it's our HQ for our wholesale Amazon business. We know that the amount of suppliers we add in today, what that will yield in terms of profit a month from now. And so we're able to keep everything organized and streamlined, again, to take all these suppliers from leads to profitable as quickly as possible. And that's really where that power comes in. It's really a system process tweak that makes everything just smoothly flow and keep your business growing month after month after month. And that's what we want. So hopefully that kind of helps clarify a few things. And let me pull up this chat here. Just had a ton of questions come in.
Yeah, I'm answering. So says didn't understand. They couldn't figure out how it was different than using a spreadsheet.
Sure.
And, go ahead and answer that. I answered in the chat, but go ahead and answer it on video.
As a guy who loves spreadsheets, I don't love them that much. So here's the big difference here. We're able to actually pull in real data of both, mainly the products, but we're able to add context on top of and do a lot of work on that data of what a spreadsheet would be, right? So when you really look at a spreadsheet, it's a very
two-dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it.
And Vendrive is three-dimensional because you've got, sorry to take over, but I'm a user. So we can talk to the geek all day long, but let me tell you my perspective.
Yeah, please.
Not a programmer. Okay, so here's what Vendrive was like. I saw the light. I've got my supplier lists, right? My records, and I've got my product records, and they integrate, and also my communication records, and the CSV files for the products. Now I had all this stuff in different places, trying to link things together in different spreadsheets, and it was I had to become like this developer in order to make everything link together. In Vendrive, it's all there. If I want to pull up a vendor and see where I am in the communication process with them, what I've communicated, if I've gotten their CSV file, what their products are with links there to all their products, so that I can track the real-time data on their products this very second, it's all in one interface. That's what Vendrive gave me. It took all of this stuff I had all over and it put it in one organized place for me. And I love being able to drag and drop those vendors from a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead.
Yeah, I mean, so what you really can't do is, even just something simple as adding a file to a spreadsheet, right? Like that's, that alone makes it.
I lose files. I change. Oh my God.
I know. I just got tons of emails this past week of like, all right, 2019, here's some new catalogs. I'm like, oh God. But now it's not a big deal because I'm like, perfect. I just upload it. It's not so it's like you said, it's taking all this decentralized, all the data that really keeps your business moving, and it's bringing it into a central location so you can effectively work from it.
It's basically an organization system on steroids for somebody who is sourcing wholesale and wants to track all of the disparate pieces of information that we need to make good decisions about sourcing wholesale, about what products we want to source and what vendors we want to carry. Does that make sense?
That's perfect.
So Barbara asks, will we get all future updates, upgrades at the same price?
Yes. So the cool thing about us being cloud-based is when we push updates, that goes to everybody. That's every user, right? So you're not having to re-download, or you have a really busy week and you go to open it to use it and you're like, oh, I have to download the updates. This is going to take like 30 minutes. None of that, right? So it makes it, again, streamlined. The cool thing is it doesn't matter what computer you're on. You can log into your account from anywhere. That includes having a virtual assistant use it. A lot of our users heavily use virtual assistants for their accounts. And we're actually, again, with the next version we're going to be pushing here shortly, is creating virtual assistant accounts under your account.
Ooh.
Yeah, right?
Ito had another good idea in the chat. Says it'd be cool to be able to have a Skype widget right inside of the account. Might be overkill, but that's a cool, potential feature. You never know.
Yeah, and so when it comes to features, we want to make sure we're building features that our users want and that really aren't just cool, but they actually when you start to use a new feature, you're like, yeah, no, this is helping. That's what we want, right? We want that open aha moment where
maybe not a widget, but a field but you could put it in notes for that for whoever your contact Skype information is, right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so that's a cool thing is, Vendrive isn't too strict in the way it's structured. It is a little open right now to where you can customize the workflow a little bit, right? So you can have your own templates. Not every seller or user that we work with throws their ASIN as the first note. I do that, because I just like to have it there. Even though I have it linked over here, I still, for some reason, just like to have that as my first note.
So what I was wondering why you did that, because I use it a little bit differently. So I put my ASIN where it's supposed to be to pull up products. But what I do is when I find a new supplier, I go to their website and I see what industry they're in and what other types of products and if they have a niche. And I'll put that in the notes section. Like this company focuses on kitchen equipment for chefs, right? So I'll be able to have a conversation when I get on the phone with them and say, right from Vendrive, saying, hey, I see your company has been in business for the past 10 years and you have some really great products, blah, blah, blah. But that's all in my notes section of Vendrive.
And you didn't have to remember that.
No.
Think about that, right? So you can quickly pull that up, call them, and have all of this great data that makes you stand out of the crowd. I mean, think about how many times these suppliers are getting called per day by new Amazon sellers who just don't have a clue. They're just like, I sell on Amazon, can I have a price list?
And you guys know I talk a lot about value adds and value propositions. And if you're in the wholesale formula through me, you know that I talk a ton about how can we add value to these suppliers when we call them to set ourselves apart. So you could actually put, after you've done kind of a little report card on maybe one of their listings, put that report card into the notes section. So when you call them, it is all there and you can say, hey, we noticed that your products, they really need to be optimized in this way. And here's an example with a title for this ASIN. And you can have all of that in the notes section right there in Vendrive as you've got their, their listing pulled up, the contact pulled up. So it's all just in one kind of control central.
Yeah, imagine not having tons and tons of price sheets in Dropbox or on your local computer. I personally like not having a lot here locally.
Yeah.
Just
I keep losing where I put them. Like I'll choose folder names and then I'll, so.
Yeah, right. So it makes it a simpler process. Lisa had a good comment in here. I like that the supplier price sheets can be contained there. And that's what we're talking about. Like it's made for that, right? Like the cool thing is this software was made by two wholesale Amazon sellers who have different businesses, who work differently.
Yeah.
right? So it wasn't built just for the way I do things or just for the way my co-founder James does things. We found those commonalities, and what was better is we had a group of people who were starting and were kind of well into wholesale to test that too, right? So it wasn't just like, we like it, hope you like it, right? It was built by Amazon wholesale sellers. That's the cool thing. And Lisa likes the idea of a task-based to-do list within Vendrive, again, attached to suppliers, things like that. Because again, do you really want to keep it all in your head? We know as business owners, it's 24/7, right?
Well, Mark's got an interesting question. Can we import? Let's say we've got something. I haven't tried this. We've got bunch of supplier contact information in an Excel or a CSV spreadsheet. Can we import that into Vendrive somehow?
Yes. So, well, hang on. Let me take a step back. So your suppliers right now, we can't import yet.
Okay.
And the reason,
good feature to add. Good feature to add.
And
okay.
I've been advocating for it with James.
Okay.
So I have all these ideas that I bring to James, and he has to kind of like remind me technology.
But remember, guys, this is a fairly new tool, so it's not completely built out, which is why we were able to negotiate the $249 for a year. And ad infinitum, it's $249 a year, no matter how robust this gets. So there may be things that that you want added, and these guys are open to you making suggestions. I think that's a really good idea. Being able to import the stuff I've already got. I didn't even think about that. It's a great idea. Thanks, Mark.
And the cool thing is, again, we work very closely with all of our users right now, and that's come up a lot. And so we're finding a solution for it. We just don't have it now. And so the reason for that is we have to force structure and how we import, because the import has to be the same every single time.
Fields have to match up, and
exactly.
Fair enough.
So once we have that structure figured out, it'll be a breeze for us to do. It's just going to take some time. But right now, export features on point. But a lot of these features, I love that you guys are coming up with the same stuff, because it validates our next deployment.
Great.
Our next feature set is exactly what you guys want, and that makes me really excited.
I agree. Cool. Well, do you guys have any other questions? I want to make sure that I'm covering as much as we can during this, but I'm also being respectful of everybody's time. So do you have any other questions about Vendrive and how you can use this in your wholesale business?
So Mark had a good one. Can you use multiple users at the same time? Yes. This is something we tested a few weeks ago, because we know a lot of our users are partnerships, and we don't obviously expect you to have multiple accounts. So you can be logged into the same user at the same time, and that doesn't cause any problems.
Nice. Well, for me, it would be like my VA. Like I might have my dashboard up and there, but my VA is working in it, but I kind of want to see, what's happening in there at a quick glance.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that won't be a problem. So that was a great question.
Cool. Lisa, what you got? Lisa says, appreciate the info, Barbara and Dylan. I'll check this out for sure. How long is a special $249 good for? We didn't really talk about that. We probably should have put a deadline on it. But it's up to Dylan, because I know that they're launching it. They're relaunching again with the next version of it. I don't know what the price is going to be, but I know it's going to be more than it is now.
Yes.
So we'll let Dylan tell us.
Yeah. So I can't give you a definitive right now. Now, what I can tell you is, again, in the very, very, very near future, we're launching the second set of features. And with that is going to
will go up.
Exactly. It's going to be a higher price point.
Well, do you know your launch date for the new set of features?
We don't have that determined right now, just because we're launching either tomorrow. I'm praying tomorrow. Our AI-based repricer.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right. The repricer tool. That's a whole different other thing. Don't go into that.
That's a whole other thing.
Another webinar on the repricer tool. It's completely
exactly. So we have something we got to take care of first, and then we're going to jump back into that. Now, the cool thing about the way we do things, although sometimes it might be a little slower, is that none of our development is outsourced. Like James is actively.
And I know that for sure, because I was on a conference call with both Dylan and James last week, and everything I was saying, James was really quiet, and I'd say, James, what are you doing? He's like, I'm coding. Like he's implementing it.
He was doing what we were talking about. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and so the reason why I say that and why that matters is
quality
we don't
control.
have what's called spaghetti code, right? We're like, it kind of works, but nobody knows why. Like, it's secure. And that's the thing that matters the most to us, right? Like you owning your data, you being able to export that, and we're cool with it. All that good stuff is we want to make sure that when you're running your business, your wholesale Amazon business with VinDrive, that's a secure and concrete thing. And so we're not going to go and outsource something that, quite honestly, is the backbone of what the value we're able to provide, which is that code. And so we're doing that all in-house. It's me and him, and we're growing, but everything will be done in-house.
Which is one of the reasons why I have VenDrive and why I'm bringing you guys to my tribe, because I like that piece and a bunch more. So here's the deal. We're gonna just say it's $249 a year, and I'm headed to China in a week. And when I come back on October 1st, I'll cycle back around to Dylan and James and see if they, what deadline they want to put on it. So for now, you have until October 1 to make this decision. But for $249 a year, lock it in. It's like $20 a month. Give up your lattes for 3 days a week, and you're done. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And that covers the price of it. But October 1st, we'll cycle back around and put a deadline on when this offer is going to expire, and I'll send out an email. But until October 1st, go ahead and sign up, dealdiva.wholesale.com/VenDrive or vendrive.com/dealdiva. Either one will get you to that page.
Now, the one thing I can say, the longer you wait on getting in there, other sellers are doing it. Remember what I said about this being a competitive advantage? That's not just marketing. That is a database fact that we are seeing with users compared to people who aren't. So I'm telling you right now, the longer you delay with that, the longer it's going to take you to really grow your business the way we've been seeing our users do so.
Now, Mark Metzler, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but I can. This TWF, which is the wholesale formula, module release 5 this weekend. And module 5 is on added value propositions to clients. So it is absolutely relevant, because you can create a report card, like I said, on a vendor's listing and just stick it right in the notes section, where when you contact, you don't have like 8 different screens up. You just have the VenDrive control panel up with that product and that supplier with your notes on it. And you can take notes and have communication, everything in that same control panel. And then when you go back to moving communication around, you can just drag it over to, mark it as hot, drag it over to where it is in the communication process. So it's absolutely relevant to Module 5 and TWF.
Yeah, and it's something that just kind of came to me that, we've heard a lot from our users. Imagine reaching out to 100 suppliers with VenDrive and without VenDrive. Think about that at scale.
Not only that, but how do you know that you should be personally reaching out to 100 suppliers? So if I've got 100 suppliers in my pipeline, not all suppliers are created equal based on what we're finding when we look at their listings, right? So if my superpower is negotiating tactics on the phone, right, and really developing a relationship with those suppliers and making deals, maybe I shouldn't be on the phone with all 100. But how do I know that unless there's a way for us to mark, the priority of which ones Barbara gets and which ones go through the normal kind of email communication pipeline?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It clarifies the work, right? Like, you can log in every single day and know what you need to do.
Yep.
I mean, that by itself, when I started kind of approaching the business that way, I'm like, wow, it's simple, not easy, right?
Yep.
And so once you have it clarified, now it is easy, because it's not, I trying to remember this, maybe that, and let me pull this. It's just, I know what needs to get done. I do it, and then I'm done. It's great.
Well, Ido's got a lot of great ideas on upgrades for the system. So, version 2 and 3. And these guys are the real deal. They're committed to this. We talked about their multi-year long-term plan. They're not drop in the bucket. There are a lot of these people. I keep seeing these new gurus with new Facebook ads. And, hey, I started 6 months ago selling on Amazon. I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah. And,
so
a cool thing.
The game.
Yeah. And, a big portion of what we do is education, and that's free. VenDrive.com/blog. Like, there's so much there that we've personally, we didn't write just for SEO purposes or filler. Like, it's literally, if I had to write down every process and everything that went through my head of like how I grew, how James grew, like what we see, what we learned, and put it into like a stack of blog posts, like that's there. And they are in depth.
Awesome.
You know?
So that's vendrive.com/blog, and you can go to dealwholesale.com. I've got a bunch of my videos and articles there. So go, go binge watch instead of binge watching Game of Thrones or whatever the current, I don't know, for me it would be Star Trek. Go binge watch some videos on sourcing wholesale and being the next level kind of seller on Amazon, and kind of feed your brain in a different way. So Dylan, do you have any last words about Vendrive? And happy to hear what you got some last words here.
Yeah, my last little blurb. Yeah, guys, it would be awesome to have you on board. I love every single week we do a live sourcing session where I do kind of what we just did, but slower and actively, like I'm going to start on Amazon.com.
Oh yeah, your live sourcing 2 days ago. I have to go watch. I saw that come up in my email. I have to go watch that.
Yeah. And so every Monday on Facebook, that's where I got the F from. On Facebook, we do a Facebook Live, and I actively source profitable wholesale suppliers using Vendrive.
Awesome.
So you get to see how that works, not just from like, here's, how we would like the software to work, here's how to actively use it, but like, here's how I use it. Here's how other users use this product. And so you get to see this every single week, and we answer questions. I mean, this is like an hour and a half long every single week, and you don't have to be a user. That's the cool thing. That's right. So we do a lot of education for free. But at the end of the day, my last statement really is going to be, there's a difference between an Amazon seller who's going to be here 3 months from now and who's not.
Yep.
And that's going to be the level at which you operate. So if there's something that enables you to operate at that level much easier than somebody else, that's a win.
Cool. All right, so Mark says, thank you both. Can't hardly wait starting this weekend. Yay. And Mark, reach out to me. I think you're one of my TWF students. So, always feel free that you can contact me on Facebook. I'm Barbara Drazga. And Mark, what is your Facebook name? What's the Facebook group name?
Yes. Let me grab that really fast for you.
Cool.
And then I'll just do this. And then what I'll do is I'll post it into the Facebook group for you guys. So you guys can jump in there.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. So it's right in there. Again,
awesome.
Right now it's every Monday.
Cool. And I'm in there too. We talk all things wholesale in there as well. It's great to just have, seasoned and new sellers together because what is it? The rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Right? We've all been new. We're going into fourth quarter. Now is the time to make money in the next 3 months on Amazon. So whatever can give you the competitive edge right now, and not just you, but me, all of us, now is the time to do it before we're 2 weeks out from Black Friday. It's way too late, right? So whatever you need to do right now in your Amazon business to get the competitive edge to really leverage fourth quarter sales, please, I highly recommend that you do it. So go to vendrive.com/DealDiva. That's VENDRIVE.com/DealDiva. Snag that $249 a year. And that is a lifetime deal. Every year it's $249, no matter, if they go up to $1,000 a year. It's
no matter if I'm super famous, nothing.
You already are, Dylan. Cool. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you guys being on tonight. Again, my name is Barbara Drazga, aka the Deal Diva, and I am the Deal Diva on Facebook. Let me change this here. I am facebook.com/groups/Deal Diva. You can go to dealdivawholesale.com and watch all my videos and read some articles and join my mailing list. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for being on tonight, Dylan and everybody.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Have a good one.